This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat.
Alright, so we got the 1097 spoilers, and the secret of Dragon, Luffy's father, is finally being revealed, and it's really exciting. But before we get into it, let me just quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter. So we found out that Kuma and Ivankov were slaves on this island called God Valley, and this is because the Celestial Dragons hold this game where they basically hunt slaves, and they give out prizes to the winners. And they chose God Valley for this game. And some of the prizes that were available were Kaido's Devil Fruit and Kuma's Devil Fruit. Now, not only Kuma was a slave here, Ivankov also was, and this girl named Ginny, who we believe is eventually going to become Kuma's wife and the mother of Bonnie. It turns out that she's really good at like hacking Dendenmushis and stuff, and she's able to leak out this information about the God Valley tournament to the Rocks Pirates and the Rogers Pirates. But at the same time, Garp is informed of this as well, and all of those parties converge and have this big epic battle on God Valley. And while that's happening, Ivankov is able to steal Kaido's and Kuma's Devil Fruits. But Big Mom, of course, takes Kaido's fruit, and Kuma is able to get his Nikyu Nikyu no Mi fruit. He's eventually encountered by Saturn, but we don't see what happens because the flashback ends and it suddenly cuts to the Sorbet Kingdom, where Kuma, Ivankov, and Ginny have survived God Valley. And that chapter ends with Ivankov leaving Kuma and Ginny to just live their lives at Sorbet Kingdom. And that brings us to this chapter, where the king of Sorbet Kingdom placed a huge tax on citizens to pay tribute to the world government. He divided the country into two parts to reduce the heavenly tribute. One part became under the protection of the state, and the other became outside the law. Kuma was in the outlaw section. The freedom fighters, led by Dragon and Ivankov, attacked the kingdom of Sorbet and overthrew the tyrant king. And at that time, Kuma joined the freedom fighters. So this explains how Kuma became the king of Sorbet Kingdom, because we know that he's eventually going to become that. So the king sucked. I mean, understandably, most of the kings in the One Piece world suck unless Luffy is going to liberate their kingdom, of course, most of the time. Then they, wind up becoming friends with him as we unravel their long, complicated backstories. But not the case here. This is getting a nice speed run from the Revolutionary Army, and this is like them in their pre-alpha stages, I guess you could say. But we'll get more into the timeline of things because, man, it's gonna get a little confusing from here on out, at least for me. I'm sure you Ultra One Piece geniuses out there could totally comprehend everything. You all have that cataloged in your mind like a facsimile of an image on a computer screen, but I do not have that ability. Anyway, Dragon was in the Navy in the past, but he left after learning that there was no justice there. Holy crap, it's finally confirmed. Dragon was a part of the Navy. And I mean, it's like, now that we say it out loud, it's not that huge of a revelation because he is the son of Garp, hero of the Marines, the one who should be commander-in-chief at this point and should have been fleet admiral, but of course chose to remain a vice admiral so he didn't have to deal with the Celestial Dragons. He is a freaking D after all, and he is the grandfather of the one who will bring the dawn. So yeah, it's understandable that he is the way that he is. And why he would, I don't know if he forced him, but considering that he was like forcing Luffy to become a Marine at first, so it's understandable that he would try to get Dragon to become a Marine because, Garp believes that that's the right thing to do, or at least that he is the one who can truly lead the Marines to be, altruistic. I'm pretty sure that's why he started Sword. But now it seems like Dragon left relatively early. And again, like I was saying with the timelines, I don't know exactly when he leaves the Marines or when he even joins them. I'm assuming he joined them as, early as Kobe, possibly, maybe even earlier than that, 15, 16. I'm not really sure what the minimum recruitment age is.
But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box where you'll get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan for a limited time, like Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, ramen, and many more. It also comes with this awesome booklet that gives you information on all of the snacks in the box, as well as information about Japan and its culture. This month's box is Mount Fuji Snack Venture. The enchanting fall season is upon us. What better way to savor this perfect season than amidst the majestic mountains? This month, Tokyo Treat invites you on a trip to Mount Fuji with exclusive snacks inspired by it, like Mount Fuji green tea cake, Mount Fuji sandwich cookie, sweet potato sable cookie, and wasabi potato chip. So we've got a different kind of box this month because you have the chance of getting one of 3 different kinds of chips. In my box, I got the nori shio dragon twists. These taste like nori seaweed, and it's such an incredible umami flavor. And of course, it has the odd corkscrew shape to it, which takes the texture to another level. You can also get one of 4 different Kit Kat flavors. I got the peach Kit Kats, and as always, these Japanese Kit Kats hit unlike any other candy on this planet, and the peach is no different. I also tried the Mount Fuji green tea cake. This was so light and fluffy, and if you like that green tea flavor, you're in heaven with this. And then last, I tried the Mount Fuji sandwich cookie. I wish I had like a whole box of these because the buttery cookie goes so well with the white chocolate center. So guys, if you're interested in getting your very own Tokyo Treat box, please check out the link in the description and make sure you use my code Zhoniin. That way you'll get $5 off your very first box. Thanks guys.
But in the previous chapter, we were talking about if Dragon was going to show up to God Valley with Garp, and obviously still not being revealed here, and I don't think it will be revealed for at least another year or so, possibly, but I think that would be a really cool way to tie everything together. It's like Dragon arrives with Garp to God Valley, and then he sees, you know, all of the Celestial Dragon slave hunting stuff going on, and he's like, yeah, there's no way to justify this, because it says he left after learning that there was no justice there. I mean, it's kind of surprising it took that long for him to figure that out. I mean, I guess, you know, you probably won't see Celestial Dragon atrocities very commonly, but at least just hearsay. You gotta know that they're slaves at Mary Schwa. And I also speculated that it was possible that Dragon was the one that was responsible for saving Kuma from Saturn and allowing Kuma, Ivankov, and Ginny to escape, but maybe that's not the case. You know, rereading the previous chapter, it's possible that Rox and Garp, like, clashing resulted in Kuma being able to escape, possibly. I mean, that would be understandable since they are both D's. You know, Rox D's at back, Goldie, Roger, just so 2 D's clashing save Kuma, the Buccaneer, who is very likely coming from Joy Boy's race from Saturn. You know, the freaking devil, like almost literally. Or, you know, could have been Dragon that showed up, or we all assumed that the result was Kuma using his Nikyu Nikyu fruit to transport them to Sorbet Kingdom. But I'm still confused about that because also at the end of the previous chapter, we saw like Ivankov kind of leaving by themselves, and it looked like it was just a boat for them, maybe. I'm not really sure if there's anyone else on the boat. The boat doesn't look black either, which is also implied to be tied to the Revolutionary Army, at least to Saul, you know, Jaguar D. Saul, the big giant guy who we thought was dead in Ohara, but he actually turns out that he's probably the man marked by flames living in Elbaf right now, at least in my opinion. But anyway, 14 years ago, Kuma and Ginny were commanders in the Revolutionary Army. Okay, here's where the timeline is starting to fry my brain a little bit. So God Valley was 38 years ago, right? So this was 24 years after, I guess, we see the end of the previous chapter. And the Weaver card says that Bonnie is 24. So that means that she should be around 10 years old at this point in time, if that is the truth. Because it turns out that Shanks was found in God Valley, and we found out recently that God Valley was in the West Blue, so it's capped, but not fully capped, because he definitely wasn't born there. I'm pretty sure he was born in Mary Schwa, and then, you know, as a baby, Garling brought him to God Valley. So it's possible that the Weaver card is like telling us that Bonnie is 24, but because she presents herself as 24 through her devil fruit, which can alter her aging and the aging of others, and maybe she's actually like 14 or 13 or something. I don't know. I think she's probably 24. And at this point in time, she was probably 10 years old. Because, you know, Ginny's full-blown adult. I think she's like 13, right? In the Viz translation, it said that she was 4 years older than Kuma, who was like 9 or 8 at that time. And Ginny also being confirmed as a commander, which we didn't know before. So I guess she's pretty powerful. I wonder if she did have a devil fruit, and that allows her to interact so well with the Denden Mushis and stuff. Maybe she has like technology devil fruit, like some kind of paramecia. Or she doesn't, and she's just precocious or something. And she's just a hockey master. Maybe it's observation hockey that allows her to do it, maybe. And at the end of the chapter, Dragon receives news of Ginny's kidnapping. So yeah, this is unfortunately going to lead to her death, I'm pretty sure, because I think we all assume Ginny is dead. Because this is a flashback in One Piece, of course, and they're always ultra sad and tragic. And considering that Ginny isn't around anymore, we assume that she's dead. It is possible that she's like a slave in Marijois right now, and then, I don't know, that could be Ginny and Kuma's ultimate goal at the end is saving her from there, even though their part in the story is so much bigger than that. At least Kuma's is. You know, I wouldn't put it past Oda to have that, but I'm pretty sure Ginny eventually dies, and maybe that gives more motivation for Kuma to take down the world government, or whatever he ultimately decides to do with Vegapunk, you know, why he becomes the android and all that stuff. Or Cyborg, I'm sorry. He eventually becomes the android, but first he becomes a cyborg. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to be doing the full summary whenever it drops. And have a great day. See you in the next one.